All right, call the meeting to order at 5:46 p.m.
Okay, roll call. Chair Martin Gilmore.
Here.
Vice Chair Kyle Conrad.
Here.
Leah Moran.
Here.
Stacy Potash. Here. Shane Smith.
Here.
We have Councilmember Chelsea Noonenkamp.
Present.
Excused, we have Catalina Johnson, Erica Crizzle, and Englewood Public School Liaison Emily Ancona. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill, Library and Cultural Arts Manager Bethany Lafferty, and Englewood Event Supervisor Tony Arnoldy.
Okay, let's go on to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, minutes are approved. No public comment?
No.
Okay. Moving on to new business, Swallow Hill Festival update. I don't have that much to say. I did meet with Jesse, but they're planning a festival basically on the street by the Spaceship Bank, right? And 2025, I think is what this is. Do you remember what month? I don't know if I should say. That's what I thought you said.
I think so, yeah. It'd be the fall.
It sounds like they're pretty excited because they used to do like these festivals in Denver that were like on Pearl Street. Swallow Hill used to do like the Blues and Brews. That's basically like Swallow Hill just having a hard time working with the city of Denver. So they're kind of trying to bring that thing to Englewood is kind of what she was saying. So, but I don't have any other specific details about that.
I thought they were planning for fall of this year. Did you say 2025?
I think she said 2025.
I think it's for 25.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's maybe if Angus was still there, maybe it would have been a shorter timeline, but with the new CEO, I don't know. But it sounded like 2025 to me. So that was the year she said. That's it. That's all I know as of now. As I said, we'll figure out what we can do to help. Any other stuff on that?
Do you know, are they still looking for a location?
I think so. I mean, I think in general, they've pretty much been searching for a new building for a long time. Because the building that they have is not really accessible. That's the primary thing. And also, like some nights it's so crowded that it's just, they need more space and could use a new facility. I'm not sure what that looks like these days, but I think I think they're keeping their eyes open for that. Now with a new CEO, Jesse, who I know has been there for a long time, I'm not sure how gung-ho she is about it. I think so, but I haven't talked to her about that. I had talked to Angus and he's gone. So.
I know the previous CEO was working with our economic development office to see, because they were interested in exploring Englewood. I'm not sure if that relationship has been passed off.
I would think so, because she was the operations officer before being the CEO. So I would guess, I haven't talked to her, but I'll ask her. I have a meeting with her next week about other things. So, So.
Did Swallow Hill come talk to us like last
Yeah.
year? Okay.
And
And
Angus
they were
was
talking about like either expanding or building
Yeah.
something completely. Okay.
right, and Angus was the one who did most of the presentation, and he has since moved on. But Jesse, who's also here with him, is now the CEO of
Okay.
the place. So I think they're still interested, but I know with turnover like that, it's going to take a little bit for, even though she's been there forever, to figure out what.
Yeah, new role.
Why did he leave?
He had a person.
Yeah, he was really gung-ho. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, but anyway, I think he had some health issues. That stuff happens. Cool. I'll keep bringing updates about that as I hear them. Media and art update.
Well, the good news is everything's submitted to CDOT, so now it's the waiting game of are we approved or not. So just waiting
Still
again.
waiting on
So hurry up and wait.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. The good news is, so we're putting in gateway signs through the communications department, and theirs was approved and installation started. And so the hope is ours are going to get approved as well, because there was some questions about the color of the gateway sign and if it was too shiny and cause reflection as people are driving, and they managed to negotiate with CDOT to say, no, we're good, and they're installed. So we hope to hear back soon from CDOT. So we do have contacts in Public Works that have relationships with individuals in CDOT. So if we don't hear back probably in the next week. We'll probably reach out to our public works contacts to see if they can just reach out and see what the status is.
It's been about a week that
Okay.
they've had it, so.
Oh, so they have talked to somebody.
We have had contact with CDOT, we just haven't heard about this project being approved or not yet.
Okay.
So
We were
by the
asking-
next meeting, we hope to have something. If we don't get approved, we'll look at different locations. We have some ideas. This isn't on here, but it may make sense. MOA, the Museum of Outdoor Arts, which used to be below us here, they're actually removing two pieces of art, one that's over by Qdoba and then one that's out here. Oh gosh, what's the one, the lady sitting.
Oh,
She was slightly controversial because she doesn't have clothes on. But she's right out here. They're taking her to Fiddler's Green down the way. And so we're starting to get some spots that don't have art that we could look at installing, like Rainbow Point possibly go out here. So we'll talk about that at the next meeting if we don't get good news back from CDOT.
Okay. I know we've been in a holding pattern forever with that.
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh.
like, do we
At
move
least we
on?
know what to expect now. This is our first round for media and art. So the call for artists did end already. So the second round to put media and art hopefully will be easier. And if we get denied, maybe we scrap the media and art idea and start placing them in parks or other locations.
Do we have, did they give us like guidelines that we need to follow that we could use for considering the new stuff?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got, like, we have a contract now that we can use. And the waiting period on this last one was the traffic plan, getting somebody to do a traffic control plan.
Okay.
So, I mean, hopefully even like, if this one gets approved, we have a company that we can work with that, you know, that we can help with that last piece.
Is that an additional cost to the?
Traffic controls, but we budgeted as part of the budget for the installation. Would it come back at 1,800?
I think it was only like, yeah, was it 18?
I think it was
We
1,800.
thought it was pretty reasonable versus what it could be.
Yeah.
Traffic control is always the biggest expense when working in the right ways and streets, so.
Okay.
Everybody think positive.
And the call closed, correct?
Call closed,
So
we have 24
24.
seats. So we'll have,
Last time we kind of eliminated the ones that were, like, didn't fulfill the plan at all, and then kind of pared it down to.
so there are several that do not meet budget or the dimensions specified in the call.
Okay.
So I'll narrow down,
Okay,
you know, what does fit within, you know, our guidelines. And then I may even send it out to you guys in advance, have you judge. Then we'll have like the top 5 or something you can review.
is that okay with everybody?
Yep, that's great.
Anybody want to see all 24?
There was one submittal that one piece was $250,000.
Whoa.
I'd like to see that one.
Yeah. We can include it, just what they did.
I'll never get to see it in
on the
person, but I can see it, yeah.
Do you know if you got any Englewood pieces or anyone?
Englewood? I think so.
That what?
Englewood
Is
artists.
there any Englewood?
Yeah, I know there was one that said they grew up in Englewood.
Okay.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. All the artists, there was someone initially that was out of state, but looking back on it, it's kind of like, I didn't see it the last time we looked. But they are definitely all Colorado.
Oh,
that-
cool. Awesome.
So, but I think that's why we only have 24 versus the 100 and something last time, so.
That's probably a good way to.
We just need one.
Okay. Any more about media and art projects, thoughts? On to placemaking and wayfinding projects.
So this project is blowing up even further. Multiple city staff from Public Works, Communications Departments, City Manager's Office, Parks and Rec, got together to discuss placemaking and wayfinding and all the hopes and dreams we have for the city and adding in new things. And so there's additional budget requests in 2025 that are going to be coordinated as a larger group. There's been about 50,000 set aside for us to do murals, potentially other art. But if murals are around 10 to 15,000 per mural, that's probably the Santa Fe Dartmouth, potentially down on Oxford. Maybe looking at over here on Hamden, but that could be a challenge too, because we have to go back through CDOT. So it's kind of exciting. This is picking up steam with additional funding being allocated to arts, because we're limited with the Cultural Arts Commission budget and only getting 1% for the arts annually, which has ranged between, I think, 14,000 and 30 or 40,000, depending on the capital improvements that have been approved for that year. And so more to come in May. Tim Dodd, who's our deputy city manager, will be coming to speak with all of you about this topic and show some examples, some different things that have been discussed. So May we'll have a presentation from him, so you guys can all get on board. Part of that's the crosswalks, which we've done already as a commission, and the traffic box wraps. So he's really trying to pick that project back up. Again, a lot of departments are involved and already on board. And the question was, will CAC support? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they will. They like these things. So he'll come to you and kind of ask for that permission and show you some examples and ideas of where these crosswalks could go in. The Wayfinding placemaking funds over time would be used for that as well. And wouldn't be tapping into the CAC funding. So kind of great news. We'll get some more art in the community and not totally drain down our whole budget in 1 year. So it's great news.
One of the crosswalks, I think, right downtown, like
Gerard.
Gerard one got
Yeah,
paved over. That was so sad.
There was the EVDA.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's
only
still
a
there for the
section.
most part. Part of it had to be cut up because of water line or something.
And they sent out a message about like possibly restoring that. But I know EDDA is working on kind of doing a cohesive thing in
Okay.
that area. And I had a meeting with Hillary from EDDA who come and spoke to us. And they're planning a whole kind of cohesive arts theme, I guess, including like crosswalks, stuff in the alley there where the parking lot is behind the space. What is the spaceman business? I can't remember what it's called.
Those
Oh,
are like
yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, it's like a different bank.
It's like there's this, the spaceman on the side. They're at Girard, basically, at the alleyway between Broadway and Lincoln on Girard. And they're doing stuff over there. So they had talked about having us or had questions about redoing the artistic crosswalk, but then they said, we have a plan. I said, okay. So I think they'll.
Okay, I would love to see that restored.
Was that the silver?
Yeah, I think it'll be something different, it sounds like. So, but
Yeah.
a similar theme.
That's similar thing.
Yeah, similar.
It's a challenge because it's a thermal plastic that it gets heated. It's solid and they heat it, and so it's not as easy of just touching up paint. Because it was a pre-printed
And that-
crosswalk.
Okay, so why is it painted on?
No, it's a thermal plastic that when you see lines in the street, it's real thick. If you've ever walked or rode your bike down the street, like, oh, it's a different feel, not versus in your car. And so this is a thick plastic material. So it's not as easy just to go out and touch up.
And that one was installed by the MOA, or was designed by the MOA and paid for by the MOA. But then the Public Works had installed it. So I'm not sure if it was under our purview. I think we approved the design, but because MOA worked with us, but it's not.
Yeah, it's still listed under MOA.
Yeah.
So Christina, will the crosswalks that you're referring to be outside of the EDA area? If they're doing different ones for downtown?
That's a good question. So right now, Public Works is identifying any potential crosswalks. Debbie's brought up when we've had these conversations about like Jason Park. Those neighbors requested a crosswalk to Jason Park with like paw prints because it's one of our off-leash areas, and doing things like that. So that's what Public Works is working on right now, putting a comprehensive list together of any of the intersections or areas that we could add crosswalks in. It's part of the Parks and Rec bond that's coming out potentially this November. We have crosswalks in a couple of our parks, which could be creative crosswalks. We want to be a little careful because you don't want people to stay in the street too long. But over at Emerson Park has one, and then down at Rotolo Park as well, there's a crosswalk proposed to get you to Southwest Greenbelt. And Emerson Park, if you've been there, there's two plots, a little area over here and then the main park. And so we create a trail system that would take you to the little area where a playground may be. So two other areas that are more in the neighborhoods that we could look at doing something really cool as part of the park renovations.
Christina, do you know if, so a bunch of my neighbors were on the island that is over here by Maddox. We had gone to the Transportation Commission and requested crosswalks for the bike trail
Okay.
on Fox. And we've been speaking a lot of us have been pretty adamant because we're all crossing to get to Clayton and there's no school bus anymore.
Oh.
And there's no crosswalk on that portion of the bike trail, the bike road, bike path, I guess,
Okay.
at Oxford or Quincy.
Okay.
And so I would love to keep that on the radar of like it's a really safety issue because there's like 5 cars back and people are trying to go across, shoot left, and bikes are crossing with them.
Okay.
And it's like, that school time's nutty. And a bunch of kids, that's their way to school is walking and biking.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's still on they made it sound like it was part of the plan too, but I hope that that's on the radar.
Yeah, we'll have to look at, once the plan comes out, we can all
Yeah.
look at it and can check and double check to see if that's rolled out as well.
Any other comments or thoughts? All right. City murals.
So an update, the mural you approved for our interns to do this summer is a go. It's been slated, I think, to be painted the first and second week in June. It might be back-to-back days. So the interns are gonna take that on. That'll go out here near the amphitheater. So it's one of those places you can come and get a picture with the background. It was that portrait looking art that they're moving forward with. They are using stencils. I'm trying to make it a little easier for the interns, so. Yeah, so we'll see how that turns out. One of the murals we proposed is actually in the amphitheater, and that may be able to move forward this year. One, we want to paint the walls because they've been graffitied over the years and they just look dirty and bad. And then the back, used to be an old waterfall in the back of the amphitheater. It used to be have vines growing up. That'll be painted black, and then the city of Englewood logo should be placed on that. So we're kind of waiting for some moving pieces to get that painted, and then yeah, it's panels that'll go up. It'll look really cool, I think. But we'll bring that to you guys as soon as we know that we've got the green light to move forward with that. And that's it won't be our CAC budget. We're covering that out of event sponsorship that we have. And then there's another.
What about the tile one?
Oh, the tile. So that one's getting a little logistically challenging. It's still in the works. I think I was talking to Lucia, who you met. She was online last time. She said that it's about 600 tiles that they would need. And the challenge you're running into is somebody to install them that's a tiler, because it's going to be on a vertical wall. And so they've been reaching out to different contractors and trying to find, even in-house, if we have an employee that would know how to do it, or some of their contacts. And so that's the challenge. So if you know anybody that does tile work, let us know and we'll get a quote for that. One of the quotes we got was really outrageous. It was too much.
To Ferguson.
Oh, I don't know who they've,
I think they do tile. Do they do tile?
Ferguson? I don't know.
It's like, for some reason, I feel like.
Okay, I'll mention it to them, so. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for asking that one. And then, yeah.
Was there a hang up with the folks on the building?
Oh, yes, that's the other piece, is the property owner for any and all bikes, and then the one right next to it. The property owners are not calling anybody back to confirm we can do this or not. So there's a couple pieces that are hung up right now. We'd love to get it going. I mean, worst case, maybe we do the tiles and like the median art, we find another location they could go up if we have to. So I think the plan is still to move forward. Phase and Glaze, which is on South Broadway, was interested in helping with the tile production to get those painted. So it may not be at their site. We may be doing painting at different events. And so trying to work out all those logistics. So more to come.
So we're still not to a point where we would be doing a call for the design then, for that one?
Not
we
yet.
still
I
gotta
think
make
they want to
sure.
make sure we've got
An
some of these
installer,
big pieces. Yeah, the installer's the big piece.
And placement.
I thought they had design.
I'm not sure.
I thought when they presented the proposal to us that they showed us design.
No.
Like they had options.
Oh, I think that's for the mural out here.
Oh,
Maybe.
There was a few months ago, they had talked about doing like a photo shop mural, whatever they call theirs, on that big wall. It's like right downtown. It's like right across from One Barrel.
The Kaufman's.
The old Kaufman's, and I don't know if they have ever. I also don't know who that building has been empty for
Yeah.
so long. But I thought that would be a really cool way to bring people into Englewood and like it would like photo oppy type thing and bring people downtown. I think that was your team that talked about that I don't
It was a
remember.
while ago, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
So that building's been bought.
Oh, it has been?
Yeah, and
What?
it is,
A while ago.
I know, I talked to President Mike Gladys Griffith of the 3400 block.
Yeah.
It has been bought and that owner, it's pretty hush hush, but rumor is it is either the or an affiliate of the Walton family. And they bought Kaufman's and they bought McMullen's.
And wasn't it also the, across the street on the east side, the train? I thought there was another one that they bought,
It could have been,
right, at least
Yeah.
three.
so, yeah. So that's exciting, but I'm like, okay, now what are they gonna do with it? Is it gonna be before the block
It's
party?
been
And
empty, right? It's
It's
like,
been,
there's no work being done.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
And my question was, is I put that LED wall up on that corner. I really need to ask someone permission, so if you could give me that name and contact information
That'd be great.
of that owner. And he sent me the property their person, the property manager. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them.
Okay.
But that's exciting because that
yes.
is such a huge part, especially down there, and it's so vacant and empty and
It is, and
getting
it's gotten
vandalized all
so
the time.
yucky. So.
So yes, maybe future opportunity.
Future opportunity to put something there, it just, like, I kind of assumed it got put on hold because nobody had owned that building. Or there was, somebody had to own it, but it was like in limbo, so. I don't know, that would be super, super exciting, and I'm really excited that somebody bought it, because every time I pass it, I'm like, come on.
It's such a
This
good
is
story.
such a great spot.
And Ted's Clothier took over the big and tall portion of that, so like, it's not even like it would be the same thing, because that's already been taken care of by Ted's Clothier, so.
Cool. Is there anything that we can do to help, like, reach out to the bicycle?
They've been contacting them, so yeah, if you know somebody, feel free to call.
I
But
just wanted to know, should we stop in and?
yeah, I think
I've
they've,
been in that bike shop and like
Perfect.
there's never
They're
anybody
just, like,
in there, but the door's open. So
Anyone bilingual?
I'm surprised we had one.
Is Katrina's is the other, that's the Mexican restaurant on the other side. And there's just a huge language barrier.
I think Katrina's is the other one they've been trying to get in
Katrina's.
touch with.
Yes.
They're not, nobody's responding back to any calls.
It's like the hosiery lingerie shop.
Well, they do know nobody uses phones anymore, so that could be a barrier.
Maybe.
That way.
Nobody answers their phone.
Nobody answers the
That
phone
is
anymore.
very true. Nobody.
Yeah, they said the Mexican restaurant. I thought that was Katrina.
And we,
They're leasing, right?
right, and I know Lucia had talked to Darren,
Okay.
and then also EVBA
Mhm.
to try to get, maybe a contact or something.
And they didn't have one and she reached out to me, so I checked out the store.
Yeah.
And he said, we can't, like,
We don't know.
we just cannot effectively communicate. What he said.
Cool. Anything else on city murals projects? Right. Upcoming events.
Awesome, so we had the Hop and Shop last month, it was great, we were anticipating that we had over 2,500 attendees, and they stayed all day, it was great, we had over 30 vendors, which was amazing, so that one went really well, it was a great kickoff to the season, if you will. The next event is gonna be the Earth Day, so the combination of the river cleanup in the morning with South Platte Renew, and then the Earth Day celebration done with Mel through sustainability, but that's gonna be over here at the Circle too. So it's on April 27th, and then we will, the next big city event is Celebrate Englewood, which is on May 11th. So they're just gonna start going, then hold on, because it's like every week. And so we, of course, will do the markets. Again, we're doing June, July, and August. It's the second Saturday of each month here at City Center Circle from 10 to 2. And then, of course, we'll have Fourth of July and Block Party and all of the other awesome stuff that we had. We had talked a little bit in the past, and I would love the support of CAC for live music at the markets again, if that's still a possibility. And then one of the other things that you all did last year was the artist grants, and I wanted to see if you guys would entertain maybe changing that a little bit. Still would love your support. Those didn't work out quite the way we planned, but it's good. We don't know until we try, right? So my thought, and I would love anyone else's thought, is maybe using that funding, if it's still available, for more of an interactive type thing. So at one of the events, we had a unit called the Crafty Chassis, and that was just for anyone, ages, pretty much 1 to 100 could go in, and she had a couple different samples, whether it was paint a pot or make a headband or a macaroni necklace, whatever, different thing, and they could go in there and they could experience that and take it with them, and it was free because EDDA paid for Crafty Chassis to be there. And so that might be a cool thing because we don't have the support from the financial support from EDDA as we had last year for the markets. So if that's something you would be interested in, and I think that would be awesome for any events that you all, are interested in supporting, because it's something for the kiddos to do and the families, but it was also fun for the adults because you saw a lot of people that were sitting down painting a flower pot or whatnot. So those are kind of my ideas, but I'm open to any. I just thought an interactive that's still artsy and stuff would be great.
What was the amount that you paid those interactive artists?
So I would have to look up how much Crafty Chassis was, but I think that in order it serviced, she did 75 crafts for free, and I for the full time of the market, and I think that it was around 1,500 or 2,000, but I would have to double check that. The other option that we could have, I could work with her, and she could still charge, but maybe do like a half price or do $1, and really work with her on how that's offered. The last time it was just free.
It was 1,500 per event, or is this?
Per event.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot more than we had budgeted for the artists.
Yeah, and that's just one example that I thought of. There's a lot of other really cool things that were done. The watercolor thing was at the block party that was done at. That was really, I think anytime that you can have some sort of arts and a family or a kiddo or a person has a takeaway, and that's why I'm excited about the tiles, because I think that would be super cool and fun for people to sit down, and paint a tile, especially like during a concert or something, but the Crafty Chassis was just one idea. It could be anything. So I would be open to any ideas, but I would definitely go out and research too on what other things would be good. I know MOA had like a movie bus that they had brought to a couple of different events, and maybe then bringing that back, just something for interactive, but cultural and art type of.
So 4 or 5 events, like the 3 markets plus the block party, right, would be those interactive, like what you would want to cover, right?
I would like to.
Yeah, okay.
And those are that's what CAC had.
And
with
we've
last
always
year.
done a little bit more money for the block, for
Yeah.
interactive. And then the markets we did, can you remind me, $2,000?
Yeah, $2,000 for the, I think that was maybe for the whole thing. Hold on.
Like,
Four
the
markets?
$2,000 was the 3
That was for the-
markets plus the block
Plus
party.
the block party for the artist grants.
But not Christmas.
And the
is that what
But
it
not Christmas.
Okay.
And what?
Wasn't the holiday also included?
It was separate.
It was.
I think initially, now maybe it wasn't because the first one didn't come together, and I think,
Oh, then it got.
but I think it was $2,000 is what we budgeted.
And we still did a separate amount for the block party that we've been
For
doing
the
artists.
interactive artist, yeah, we did a separate thing for that.
And last year didn't end up happening because we only got the one
Right, and
submission.
and so we funded some part.
And then a couple of the artist grants that you gave out, they never responded.
Yeah. I really like the idea of of interactive. I like the idea that maybe there's people we can work with versus asking for submissions. But I guess that's the bigger question, is because historically with the block party, we've asked for submissions of interactive ideas. And we got a really cool one. Like, I still love Lexus's, like the watercolor painting was awesome. But I also think like those space painting, craftsy, like are really important to community events for kids. And so I'm all on board for supporting it. I guess the bigger question is like, what's the best way to support it? If you want it, like, you know people and you want to go out and reach and just tell us who you find and do like 500 or whatever that 2,000 breaks down into for you. Or if it's better to like do a call for Englewood artists to come up with an interactive idea, which we've had success and we've also had it bust.
I think it's more time effective if I would propose that if we came back next month and maybe we have ideas, that we could talk about, doing the call and then.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, so I love the idea of getting everyone's different ideas, or if we know, if there's an artist in the schools or, stuff like that, and kind of coming back with our ideas and figuring out the best way it is. But I would propose that we could maybe try to do it internally with us, versus doing a call.
Full-on call.
Could you also send an email just to your artist list? So it's not a full call, but it's saying, hey, we're looking for people who are interested in this. Is anyone?
Just an idea.
Yeah, it's a different type of ask, but yeah, we could, if like, I think it's kid art. Really it would come from you all, but yeah, we could send it to the artists and say, hey, we're looking for interactive.
Tony, would you prefer, we obviously $1,500 per thing isn't gonna work for us. So we've got this amount of money. Would you rather see something be at every single market, or would you rather us take on like 2 of those or 1 of those and have a big thing?
I'm split on that. I like to have something to offer, more than kind of quantity over quality per se. Because my fear with that is if we put all of our eggs in one basket and then Mother Nature takes care of us, then we're out.
Right.
Where if we can split it up and share the love a little bit, and then it's just more happy faces at each event versus everything at one event. And sometimes like the block party is so sensory overload of so much stuff to do too. I don't ever want it to get lost. Like you guys put a huge amount into one event and it doesn't have the impact or whatever that you were hoping for.
Right. Okay, that's good to know. I was just curious to know like what you were looking for, like money-wise, funding-wise.
Okay. Cool. I always joke and tell my vendors, if you just get a spool of ribbon and a box of paper clips and have people wrap paper clips in ribbon, they'll ask for 2 if they're free. They will. So just something for the kiddos to do, is always fun. It's a nice break for the parents too, to be able to, and the vendors love that because then the parents shop a little more because their kids are entertained. I appreciate anything.
So do we want to make a motion to put that money towards interactive events this summer and then have Tony come back with the suggestions of what we could approve as like like what our options are? Or do we want to be this involved? Like I kind of feel like we could just allow you to have the money, Tony, and figure out what you can do with it for those interactive art, or would you prefer to have us vote on all the choices?
No, I don't think you necessarily have to vote. I would be happy to do that if whatever's easiest for you guys, but I would like your opinions, if I were to come back next month and say, these are the different options that we have found. I would like all of your guys' input on it. I don't know if it has to be an official vote. I don't know how that all works, but.
I think we'd have to vote to move the money.
Because I think it'll help Tony with calling people to kind of have an amount, if she's calling like Craftsy, to tell them like what you're working with from us, right? Might help to know how to spread that over.
Debbie, do you have the budget?
Yeah.
Okay.
Block party, okay. 1,000. Oh, so 1,000 for artist grants, 1,000 for the block parties, so we have 2,000.
That's what I was thinking, of
That's
those two.
for both those things. Did we have, I guess before we move on to that, did we have people respond to the artist grants last year? Or did they all fall through?
We had a couple for each event. Several of them had applied for each of the markets,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
and some of them did show up.
Right, for the holiday, she did not respond.
Okay. Just thinking that's a unique way of supporting Englewood artists. That's not like other ways that we support things. That's kind of gives us a different way of putting arts money into the community. And so I think it would be cool to have immersive art in each of those, but I'm wondering if we could leave some for the artist grants.
Or like set some aside in case you do want to,
Just, yeah, for a
if
couple.
you wanted to like fund somebody like that, like, or do we want to do another call for artists to put in for those?
Well, I mean, it'd be cool to, I think it would bring artists out. I think if I remember our thinking, just to go through this, our thinking on that was, there are a lot of people who maybe would see the booth price as a burden, who are maybe artists who would show up and do things. I'm not sure what they gained from it. I guess, I don't know if we talked to them after the.
Well, the other thing that I guess is a deeper question too, is if Redline really is coming into town, which I'm still not, I don't know where we landed with Redline. But in theory, if Redline is in Englewood, like part of their role would be doing the support to get artists and markets and things.
Oh.
And so that could shift, but that was the idea, is that we'd get more
Okay.
artists to those markets and build up more art at the farmers markets for those events.
I like the idea of the immersive, or not immersive, interactive stuff at the markets too.
Yeah.
And if we want to put gamble on Redline, I mean, it's probably not a gamble.
It hasn't come through, so.
No, okay.
It doesn't appear to be any movement across the way in that quadrant as of yet, but it could pop up overnight. You just never know. But I don't know if we want to, do we just wait and hopefully they're here for 2025 and we have great ideas on how to work with them versus hope they're here this year because they weren't last.
Yeah. I don't know, anybody else have thoughts? Does it make sense that it's a different way of supporting Englewood arts that's not like what other things that we've done? That's my thinking. But I also like the idea of interactive arts at all those events.
I mean, I'm biased, I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah, me too.
Like, that's a real need for me, is to have a kid entertaining area, and
Does anybody else have discussion on or argument against moving the money from the artist grants into immersive art for the events?
I don't see enough, I just don't feel like the grants worked out great last year. And I think our money is better spent on something new, and let's try this, and if it works out better, then great. And if next year we're like, oh, wow, we should have kept a little bit of money, we can go back to it, but it didn't work out great last year. I would love to fund grants, but I also don't think it worked out, and people kept falling off.
Okay.
So I would like to see that money be moved to the immersive.
I agree.
Does anybody want to make a motion in that?
I moved to move the $1,000 from artist grants to immersive art for this year.
Okay, and immersive art for markets, correct?
For markets.
For markets,
all
yeah.
markets, okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I
Aye. All opposed? All right, there you go. 2,000, that's what I think we could do.
It's amazing. Thank you guys so much.
And maybe just to, I don't think we've voted on this one, but could we do a similar call for the block party though, immersive art? Because that one feels big, but something,
Oh, a separate thing? So that,
I don't know.
I thought we were just rolling all that into.
Well, that would be,
That was the motion.
so we have 1,000 for the artist grants for the markets, and then we have 1,000, if I'm correct, set aside for the block
For the
party.
block party, yeah, that's what we just.
And we historically have done different calls around Englewood for like an artist to come up with something.
Oh, for the block party,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I kind of saw that $2,000 just being for all
That's what I
things.
said.
So did we just do 1,000? Because we did.
No, we voted on to combine the two.
Oh, divide 2,000.
And
Okay, I
block
thought I
party
heard
is just
1,000.
part of that.
Okay, I'm totally fine.
Okay.
Okay, I thought, I just heard 1,000. So let's make sure
You're like,
that
"Oh my
one is
God."
also done right now.
To move 1,000 to two.
Cool. Yeah, we're good. Got it, sorry.
And that's not to say that we still can't do a call.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
For the
so.
block party, maybe,
Mhm.
if we want to find something different.
Mhm.
Cool.
And again, I invite any ideas, if there's anyone that you're like, you should check this out, like, please send it my way, because I'm always looking for cool things. I just was showing Christina one, I'm like, look at this one, and it's ridiculously out of my budget, but I'll track it down if, I love ideas, so please send them my way.
The face painting was a huge hit at the block party last year.
I know,
Like,
I
it was like, the lines
Love that.
were like.
I have two of them too.
Yeah.
They're 2 sets of 4 painters, so.
So, I'm, like, I would like to see that happen. I think it's just.
It's happening.
Cool.
Yeah, okay, that's happening.
All right. Any more on that market artist grants? Okay, staff's choice.
Beth, do you have any updates from the library?
Just that we're getting into our first library art exhibit. We're a little bit behind in recruiting artists to show their work, but we're hoping to get a few people on board this month, and then we'll start our first art exhibit. And I don't think we've actually decided on the dates for the receptions, but we're trying to consider doing it on a different day and time and maybe align it with some other like activities that are happening. But I haven't decided yet. I think for this first exhibit, the best like we could do to line it up with another event is to do it on the same day as Celebrate Englewood, but I feel like I don't know if that would really be a good way to do it, because I don't know. I don't know if people would really come in the library because it's such an outdoor focused event. I'm not sure. So I haven't decided when we're going to do the reception for this first art exhibit, which will go through the end of May. So it is up on the library's website. That's what I was actually gonna put this in the chat, Debbie, if you're able to share it or open it, the site, so people could see it. Hang on, that's not the website. Let's see. Because I did have communications get the application updated so that we can have out there what the dates of the different art exhibits will be, and what the themes are. So the themes can be inspire new artwork that people would make that they submit, or artwork that they already have that fits the themes. So that's all the library has going on right now.
Beth, do you want to mention the artist or the author event as well that's coming up in June? That is exploding.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it is actually really taking off. We have, I believe, 26 authors booked. We're like at the point where we're taking over the entire civic center on that day, not just the library. So it's getting pretty big, and we're in the stages of just like finalizing what everything is going to be, getting our promotional materials put together so that we have that to, you know, share with the community what we're going to be doing and get people coming and stuff like that. We actually have a really pretty big name author coming. It's a children's book author named Avi. I don't know how many of you might be familiar with him, but he's apparently lives here in Colorado. So we're actually really excited to have him coming to the event because he's definitely a big name in youth literature. So we're going to be promoting his presence through like with the schools and stuff like that at the end of the school year, to encourage parents and students to come to the event too.
What day is it on again?
It's the same day as the first market. So it's June 8th. So come hang out in the circle.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Come
have
hang
it
out
all
here.
going on.
Cool.
And then Abby, what was the last?
Avi, I think is the
Avi?
name. How do you spell that, Beth?
Yeah, it's AVI.
Check it out.
Awesome. Yeah.
This is really cool. It's one of our part-time staff that has launched this event and it's exploded.
Yeah, that's cool.
So hopefully we'll keep you updated and get you more information as it becomes available. So if you want to attend, you can.
Cool.
Do you want, is it okay for me to share the event with the PTO?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's not posted just yet,
not
but
yet.
we'll have it.
Our next
soon.
meeting's coming up, so.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that all for staff's choice? Oh. Cool. Do you have something, Chelsea?
I think so.
Commissioner's choice? Going on. Cool. Then we'll adjourn at 6:33. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Beth. Bye. I feel bad hanging up.